Good morning. Welcome back to Breakfast Television. As Jordan mentioned, we're looking at pretty typical volume for our morning commute. No big problems to tell you about, but that construction that we had over on the southbound 400 approaching Teston has cleared away. However, we are still looking at delays on the southbound 400. It's busy actually moving through Highway 9 and jammed up on the southbound 400 from south of Aurora Road to south of King Road. So it is quite busy as of right now as you head towards Vaughan. Southbound 400 also busy from Teston down to about Major Mac, and then you'll find delays from south of Shepherd to the eastbound 401 ramp. Taking a look at the 401 itself, looking at volume delays, Mississauga Road to Mavis, also busy from east of the 427 over to about Weston in the Express. And the Gardner heading in towards downtown, you can see that it's quite busy. Eastbound Gardner is slow over the Humber Bridge. Then we get a break, and then it's slow again on the eastbound Gardner from actually approaching Dufferin. So keep that in mind as you head out the door. Just volume building, but nothing major to worry about, at least not yet. Let's look at your roads. Send things over to Frankie.
Nothing major to worry about in weather as well. As a matter of fact, today's probably one of the best days we'll see over the next 7. Here's a look at your satellite radar with some morning cloud cover. We'll get into some afternoon sunshine. Temperatures right now sitting at about -4 at Pearson. -4 in Hamilton. Similar conditions through London. -2 to my friends in Windsor. Good morning to you. -14 Ottawa. -13 in through Bancroft. We have a current wind chill. Toronto sits right around -8. The winds are nice and light in Hamilton, so you don't have a wind chill to speak of. There's that high today. The freezing mark tonight will go down to -7. Tomorrow we'll reach the freezing mark, but wind direction changes tomorrow. Then as we get into the evening, we'll see cloud cover increase with a risk of flurries. And for Wednesday, we're going to get cold. -4 is a daytime high, but Wednesday night, we're going to see an overnight low of -13 with winds out of the northwest 30 to 50. That also means wind chills on Wednesday evening close to -20. That is a look at your forecast. Now onto your news.
They're going to be talking dollars and cents at today's TTC board meeting, including a possible fare hike. It's a special meeting to discuss the 2020 operating and capital budgets. In a report released Friday, the TTC is proposing a 10-cent fare hike across the board, but adult cash fares would be exempt. Adult Presto fares would jump to $3.20 per ride, while a monthly adult Presto pass would jump to $156. If approved, the fare hike would bring in an extra $31 million a year. The proposed hike would take effect on March 1st. After several public consultations, the Toronto Police Services Board is meeting this afternoon for a progress update on race-based data collection. The policy was approved back in September to track and report the races of people involved in certain police encounters. It's part of an effort to eliminate possible systemic racism in the force. The meeting today will also look at 2020 budget recommendations. As the House gets set to vote on Wednesday in the possible impeachment of Donald Trump, top Democrats are calling for former White House aides to give testimony. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer wants some key players to speak, including White House Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney and former National Security Advisor John Bolton. The president faces 2 charges, abuse of power and obstruction of Congress, over claims he pressured Ukraine to dig up dirt on political rival Joe Biden. If the vote passes on Wednesday, it could set up a second trial in the Republican-controlled Senate next month. Desperate search and rescue operations now underway in the Philippines after a 6.9 magnitude earthquake struck the southern island of Mindanao. Yeah, that was yesterday. At least 3 people are dead. That includes a 6-year-old girl, and dozens more are wounded. This is the 5th earthquake to hit the country's south since October. Violence erupting as protests spread to student campuses across India over a new citizenship law passed that demonstrators say is based on religion. It allows religious minorities such as Hindus and Christians in neighboring Bangladesh, Pakistan, and Afghanistan who have settled in India prior to 2015 to become Indian citizens on grounds they faced persecution in those countries. The protesters are angry that the law does not also apply to Muslims and says that it weakens India's secular state. Dozens of protesters injured in a second straight night of street clashes in Beirut between demonstrators and security forces near Lebanon's parliament. The demonstrations have been ongoing there since October. The protesters are angry at corruption among the country's political elite. They're blaming the government for Lebanon's worst economic crisis in decades. Authorities had issued a warning on Twitter to clear the streets, but that was ignored by the demonstrators. Well, closer to home, quite a surprise for some residents in Montreal yesterday afternoon when they spotted an alligator crossing the road. Seriously, this happened. Montreal police say the 2-meter-long gator was being transported in a vehicle when it escaped and crawled under a vehicle. The gator was recaptured a couple of minutes later. Other than causing some worry to a few onlookers, nobody was hurt at all. Montreal's mayor later tweeting out the owner had all the proper permits and was part of an educational project.